Hey, what's up, guys and gals? It's me, your old buddy, Mr. Moose, and today we are playing a little Farming Simulator 2017. Today we're going to be starting fresh on a map called Upper Mississippi River Valley. This is a map that has been in development for a bit, and we've been playing the last couple of weeks over on Twitch, and it is just an absolute pleasure to play on. Still in beta, still being worked on. But it is at a point where you can play it and have a lot of fun with it, and I thought I would share it with you guys. Now, there was an update just a few days ago that brought it to version 2.1. In it, he resolved a few issues, added a few other things, including multi-fruit. And so it did force a reset, and I figured while I was resetting, I'd start recording some episodes on this, and we'd even throw in the Seasons mod, because some of you guys have been asking me to play the Seasons mod. So that's where we're at, and that's what we're going to be doing this week. Great map, a very good representation of Midwest farms, and really, I mean, almost farming in general for the area. You know, I could see this being an area around my house with some of the stuff, maybe more trees in the area where I live in, but still a very good representation. So I like it a lot, and I think you guys will too. If you do, make sure you smack that like button for me, leave a comment down below, and of course, if you enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. All right, so you can see it's a very big map. It is a 4X map, lots of ag on this, as well as some forestry on it. Basically, this is supposed to represent the area in which the developer lives in the Iowa, or I believe he lives in Iowa. The right side of the map is supposed to be Iowa, and the left side of the Mississippi is supposed to be Wisconsin. And most of your ag is situated on the right side of the map, with a little bit of ag on the left side of the river, and forestry being over on the left side of the river as well. Great fields. They're very organic. You don't find square fields and flat fields in this. Lots of rolling hills, good topography in it. It's a really, really nice map, and lots of detail in it as well. There are several different farms that you can set up on. We're in the starter farm that he had originally in the map. You can also play over at the pig farm, which is over by fields 5 and 6. A lot of small little fields over there if that's what you want to do. You can go over to fields 12 and 13 where the dairy is at. It's a huge dairy. You can set up your dairy operations there. And there's a few other places just sporadically around the map, like over by 2021. It's got some sheds there and a place you could set up shop there. So you're not really pigeonholed to one place. You can be wherever you want to be at it. It's up to you. So, but I like this farm right here. This is where I'm going to set up at. And again, we are playing the Seasons mod. And I'm going to set Seasons mod up for 6-day cycles. So let me just go ahead and look at it real quick and make sure we get everything right. We're on 9 days, so we want to make it for 6 days. So we're going for a 6-day cycle on this. And I've also got the US Midwest Geo in here, so that the temperatures and everything are based on the Midwest and the US. So that is what I'm playing with as far as that. The map is going to be mainly John Deere equipment. You can see I've got an 8R here. I've got a 6R here. I've got a John Deere combine back here, a disc. It's going to be a lot of John Deere equipment, and fittingly for it being a Midwest map, I think it works really well. Now, you start off with some case equipment, actually some really nice case equipment. It gives you a Magnum, as well as the articulated case, and then a case combine. I don't know, I just really didn't like that selection of equipment, so I sold it all off and bought what I have here. But I will add in a little bit more money and get a few more items that I need for the farm. So, but I'm going to start pretty modest. I'm not going to buy huge stuff to begin with. So you're not going to see like a 9 RT to begin with, but I will play with one later on as we expand the farm. But to begin with, it's going to be pretty modest selection equipment. Probably maybe add one more tractor in, and that tractor will be a small tractor that I use for basically to drive the auger, because you, instead of using the drop grain silos where you drop everything in, it loads it automatically. That big silver grain silo in the back, that's what you put your grain in, and you have to have an auger in order to get it up there. and so you needed a little tractor to run that. I figure I'll buy like a little 4000 or something and run that with it. So that's what we're gonna do. Anyways, I got a little bit more of equipment to go pick up, so we're gonna head over towards the dairy farm and pick up the equipment that we need for doing some slurry, because I am gonna do slurry to begin with instead of fertilizer on these fields. I just you know, slurry is one of those things that you don't get to do until like in game, and I haven't gotten to do much of it. And I decided, well, if I'm going to do seasons and I've got all this field prep work to do before I can even plant, I'm going to go ahead and do slurry. So in the live streams, I was going to use a slurry sell point or purchase point to purchase the slurry and use that, but had a lot of problems with courseplay working with it. I could manually go get the slurry and bring it over, and everything worked just fine. But anytime I wanted to use automation, I had nightmares with it. So I've decided that I found a workaround, and that basically is I went into the XML file and I added in 800,000 liters of slurry to the dairy, which is not what I wanted to do. I was going to role play it and say, hey, look, we don't own this dairy, but I came over and talked to the owner of it, and he's going to charge us a little bit for the slurry, and we're going to buy the slurry from him, and you know, up until that we can get our own dairy operation running, right? And that was going to be the way I was going to do it. And that way it would be the same as buying fertilizer and going down that route. But since the purchase point doesn't work with the automation, and I'm not going to haul I'm not going to sit here and haul truckload after truckload after truckload of slurry over to do the farms. That's not my thing. So yeah, so I found the next best way is just to add the slurry in via the XML file, and then I can go down that route. So, you know, there'll be those that are, that's cheating. Well, you know what? I've played the game enough realistically that I can cheat now. You know, I'm past the point of trying to beat the game, you know, in any other mode. I'm going to play the game to have fun. And rather than do fertilizer off the bat, I'm going to go and do, I'm going to do something different this go round. So, all right, I'm going to bring this guy right about here and drop it right. Yeah, right there's fine. So we'll drop that guy off, and then I'm going to go ahead and run over it. Ah, I was trying to not hit the pole. Oh well. All right, I'm going to park the truck up here, and through magic, we're going to go get into the semi. There we go. All right, and then we'll go get some slurry so we can get started. So we are going to use courseplay for this part of it, but I will tell you, I mean, in playing in the live streams and then off screen, these fields are not that AI friendly. They do have some issues, so it's going to be a challenge to use automation. AI extension mod works okay, but because it is so organic and you've got so many little nooks and crannies to go into, you start getting those areas where like part of the field will get pinched off, and AI extension doesn't like go through them, and so you'll have sections that won't get finished. Courseplay is your best bet, but even it has issues. But you can get away with doing some automation with courseplay. All right, so let's turn in here. We'll head into the dairy where we're going to pick our slurry up. So here's the dairy operation, another place where you could set up shop. I see an old house from 15, still looking good. He's got a really nice dairy operation over here. This is the main way in. You got 2 little houses. Now, if you want to see a whole overview of the map, go check out the video where we did the 29,000 subscriber stream. And I drove around the entire map for it. If you guys want to see that, you can go watch that. And we're going to come down here and see if we can get backed up in here. So there's the slurry pit. Now, this presents its own little challenge to get slurry out of here, because course play does not like backing up. It just doesn't. It hates it. I don't know if it's the ground textures or what in the game, but it does not like backing up in a straight line. Doesn't matter what you do. Even if you try to back up in a straight line manually, it doesn't like it. The trailer wants to go all over the place on you, and you have to make little course corrections and everything. So it presents its own little unique challenges in trying to get back into it, because you do have to back into it in order to get the slurry out of it. The trigger on it starts right about where that first bush is. So right about, you got to have the trailer right about here. Actually, come forward just a little bit. Right about there is where the trailer has to get to in order for it to go ahead and start filling up. So when you're backing in, you have to take that into consideration. Now, so when you typically do a course in course play, this would be where you would start your course. It would fill up and then it would go forward, and when you come back around, you usually record the stopping point right before the starting point, which is a challenge with this sort of situation here, because there's no easy way to get back around other than backing up. Fortunately, though, with the new course play, basically it doesn't refill at the starting point. It refills whenever it's in the trigger. So as long as we hit the trigger backing up, we'll be all right. So that means I can start the beginning point way out here and not have to worry so much about hitting that backup spot. So I'm going to actually pull quite a bit forward and start the course way out here. Now, this is only for this situation because I'm going to be backing into the trigger. If I could pull through and hit it, I'd record my course completely different. So I'm going to start recording my course right here. And we're just going to run around and head back to the farm and pull up next to where we got that field side container, and then put our waypoint in and head back. And I am going to drive this with the trailer on so I can reference where it needs to be for the field side container. But when I come back, before I finish the course up, I will stop, drop the trailer off, and then I'll finish recording the course with just the semi and not with the semi and the trailer. And I have to do that because I'm going to be recording a backing course, and you cannot record an accurate course with the trailer on. I'll explain that a little bit more when we get to that point. But for reference point, I'll be driving it with the trailer on it for now. So anyways, what else haven't I covered on this map? I think that's about it. Like I said, he added in multi-fruit this go around. There's still textures to work on. You still start with all the fields because he hasn't done the mask yet for the viable fields. So that hasn't been done. I doubt missions will be available. I think it would be quite hard for you to be able to get a mission system set up on this field. So I don't expect him to have missions on this. But he does plan on having purchasable fields. That won't be available until he gets the field mask done for that, and he was saying that would probably be in the final version of the map when that happens. But it's a good looking map. He's still got some textures to work on, a little bit of massaging still to do with some of the joints at the roads and things like that, but he's still working on it. For a first effort from somebody, this thing is amazing. I mean, the guy has put so much into it. They've put so many hours into this map, and yeah, my hat's off to him. He's done a really good job. But again, just keep in mind it is in beta. So if it's if you're looking for a finished, polished map, this might not be the one for you. If you're looking to get a map and start a long series of farming on, going through the seasons mod, might not be the one for you, because you may have to restart, you know, when he has an error and has to fix it and puts out another one. You know, but if you're cool with the fact that he may be restarting, if you're not playing with seasons and you're just doing plant harvest, you may really enjoy this map. So link for it is in the show notes, so you can go get it and go down that road. But just keep in mind that it is beta and there are changes ahead for the map. All right, so here's our field side container. We're going to pull up to it, give it just a little bit of distance away from it, and we'll set right there. We'll set our waypoint. That's good, and then we'll get out of here. Being careful to miss the sign so we don't run it over. What a moron. I was doing so good. I was planning on you know. I was like, well, I'm going to hit the trailer backing up, but I'm going to miss that sign. No! And I'm going to use this one slurry point for all of these fields. I think that'll work out. Work out just fine. That way I don't have to record a separate one for every field. Now, I may have to do something for this one here on the right for 17, but hopefully not. We'll just see how it goes. And again, since all the fields are available, I can work whatever fields I want to work. But if we bring up the map, I'll show you. I'm only going to be working 27, 28, and 29, which really is one field. 25, 26, and probably 24. 24 will be our big, huge, enormous cornfield that we will work. And our focus will be on things that we can grow first to get feed for cattle. And then we'll focus on working towards, in season 2, working towards pigs. I'm not going to be able to grow everything at once. That's the difference with seasons and playing regular, is you pretty much can do everything right off the bat and just, you know, in a few days have everything harvested. Whereas with the seasons mod, you got to prep all your fields, get everything ready, sow them, and then wait, and then harvest them, and then you can't really do much during the winter other than plant oilseed radish and wait for that, so that in the spring you can reset your fields. So if you're only going to work a limited number of fields, you're not going to be able to grow everything needed to get all of your livestock right off the bat. All right. Here comes the tricky part. So we'll pull in here and I'll make my turn, and then I'm going to drop this trailer before we do the rest of this route. Boy, I sure did come way over here. I didn't do myself any favors. All right, so right about here, I'm going to pause for just a half a second. I'm going to disconnect the trailer because the rest of this I need to do with just the tractor, or in this case, a semi. All right, so we'll move forward now. And this is where it gets tricky. I need to make the turn, and I need to line the truck up so that it is ready to back in to that area as straight as possible without any corrections. And I need to pull forward and make sure that the trailer gets, you know, has enough room to get lined up so that everything is in a straight line. I'm visualizing that there's a trailer behind me and that it has to be in just a straight line as well. Then I need to back up, and I almost need the dots that I have here. I need to almost back up perfectly on those dots. So I'm going to go ahead and set into reverse mode, and I just need to back up, trying not to make any corrections at all to the truck. I just want it to back up in a straight line, and I want to hit these dots almost perfectly and let it just back itself straight in here. It's off just a little bit, but that's okay. I'm not going to sweat it. I'm just going to let it back in, and I need to get inside of that bush for it to start refilling. And I'm just going to back all the way up to here, set it to move forward, and then I'll pull forward again, and I'll stop my recording right before that start marker, which is right there. And we should be good to go. Hopefully that's accurate. So let's go ahead, save that Slurry to field 25. And then comes the big issue. Now we test it and see if all the work pays off. So the trick to this is, and the reason you record with only the tractor and not the tractor and the trailer, Courseplay does not doesn't function the same going backwards as it does going forwards. When you're driving forwards, Courseplay references where the front of the tractor is, or it's actually the cab of the tractor is what it references. But when you're backing up, it references the back of the trailer you're backing. So, you know, the center of the cab is going to follow the blue line when you're going forward. But what follows the blue line when you're going backwards is the back of the trailer. So that's what you have to visualize where that's going to be and where it needs to be positioned. But you can't record that because when you record, you use the center of the cab of the tractor that you're driving. So you don't have that ability to back up the trailer and really reference it. You just kind of have to know where you need it to be and go with it from that point. And it takes a little practice, and you'll mess up. I mean, you're going to get things wrong. Not everything is going to work perfect every time you do it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set this up to dry. We're going to be using the liquid product transfer mode. And I want to make a couple of adjustments here. I want to make sure that I use drive control. I want to make sure that drive control keeps four-wheel drive on, because this particular mod seems to have some issues with this map a little bit. So I want to make sure that's on there. Turn speeds are fine. Reversing speeds 3 miles an hour. Take the speeds from the recording is good. And then we're going to start at the nearest waypoint. And if I've done everything right, this should work. If not, I'm going to, beat my head against the table and cry. Because it takes so long just to get this course set up, and as I'm recording this, if I do it and I get it wrong, that means I got to start all over again. And that's not a good idea, or that's not something I'm really looking forward to. All right, so we're coming forward. We're following the line. Let me bring up the whole line so you guys can see it. There we go. Everything is straight at this point. Well, hopefully it will back up with his I don't like that big correction there. It's going to mess up. It does not like the geometry with these trailers, these trucks. Oh, it might work out. Every time that front end has to swing out, it has to swing way the other direction, and those steerable axles on the trailer start tilting the wheels, and then the geometry gets all messed up and it becomes an issue. So Horseplay doesn't like backing up, not with these truck and trailer combinations. It works better with the tractors than it does with the semis. Truck and trailer, it just I'm But it seems like it's going to work. That's a good thing. All right, so you notice it stopped short of the last dot on the course for backing up. And that's what it's saying. Backing up with course play, if you're backing into the trigger, it starts filling the moment it hits the trigger. So you can have that little bit of leeway there. It's still going to back up. So it's going to fill all the way up and then restart the truck, back up that last little bit, then it'll pull forward and go back to the start point. So you don't really have to worry about where, if you're backing, you don't really have to worry about where your start point is. Now that does mean that the first time that you start a course, you're not going to fill up unless you take the truck and start a little bit before the stop point. The reason for recording your start point right where you're going to get your liquid is so that no matter when you start the course, it's always going to start right there and fill up at that point. But with this, you can give yourself a little bit. Just remember that the first time you start off, you have to backtrack just a little bit and let it run, or manually fill up and then let it run the course. All right, so far so good. We'll let that make its way back to the farm, and then we'll get started here. While it drives back to the farm, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the channel and where we're headed and all that good stuff. Because the title of this, it does say announcement. And that announcement is this coming week is going to be my viewer appreciation week for reaching 30,000 subs. I've hinted at the fact that I was going to give stuff away. I said I was going to give stuff away, and I haven't yet. To be honest with you, I was going to give it away over the Labor Day weekend, and then I realized that a lot of people are going to be traveling, a lot of people are going to be out of town, and, you know, that's just not fair because, you know, my viewership on live streams on Labor Day weekend always goes down, or on any holiday weekend, it always goes down because people may not be in a situation where they can watch the stream. So I figured what I would do is I'd hold off and I would wait a few more days, and in the process, we hit 31,000. So with the channel just booming and everything, it's time for me to give away some games and just say thanks to you guys for the support, as I always like to do when we reach a milestone. So thank you so much, everybody, for all the support you give in the channel. For all the new subscribers, welcome. I do appreciate it. I know a lot of people have come because of the Car Mechanics series, and I appreciate that. I play a variety of games, and Farm Sim's one of them. I like Car Mechanic Simulator. I play a lot of 7 Days to Die offline, but I do stream it a little bit, as well as the ATS, the ETS stuff. I'm looking forward to, you know, one day getting a new ATS map so that we can get back into that and enjoy it. But anyways, this weekend I'm going to give away, or this coming week, I'm going to give away a lot of games, and it'll start tonight in the live stream. I am going to do a live stream for Monday night, but it will start a live stream off, and we will give away some stuff this week. And those games are going to include Car Mechanic, Farm Sim, ETS, ATS, and whatever else I come up with to give away that I might find interesting, and what you guys want. But for Car Mechanic and Farm Sim are probably going to be my two main focus because they seem to be what are the most popular right now. And for Car Mechanic, I'm going to try to give away some of the DLC content for people who may not have that, as well as a copy or two of the game. For Farm Sim, what I'm looking to do is give away, you know, some of the Coon, some of the Big Bud DLCs during the live streams for folks. But I also want to give away, some of the, let me get this steering wheel down. I see you are not a friend of mine. I also want to give away the Platinum. That's going to probably be the biggest focus I have this week as far as the giveaway, is give away some DLC for the Platinum. That does come with a little bit of a disclaimer that I have to put out. And that is all of the content that I give away this weekend will be through Steam. And it will be for PC. It will not be for console. If you bought Farm Sim for the Platinum, if you bought Farm Sim through Giants, you won't be able to utilize the content that I give away this week, and I apologize for that. I would love to go to Giants' website and buy the DLC through Giants' website, but unfortunately, Giants' website doesn't want my PayPal money. It doesn't like me. It doesn't want to accept it. And it keeps telling me I don't have a verified account, which I do have a verified account. So, I mean, I have a freaking business account set up, and it doesn't want to, claim that I don't have a verified account. So, nothing I can do about that. So, since I can't buy through Giants using the money that I have to buy it where I can. And so, it's going to be through Steam. And so that means the folks who have the game through Steam are going to be the ones who can, redeem the keys that I'll be giving away. So best way I can do it. And again, I would love to include absolutely everybody. I just can't. So, but anyway, so we'll start that off this week. Start giving away some goodies, and keep going from there. But we'll start Monday night. I'm going to give away the giveaways through both videos as well as through the live streams, because I know not everybody can get on Twitch, not everybody can watch the live streams over there. I wish everybody could, and I invite everybody to come join us for it, but I'm well aware that some of you guys have problems with Twitch. It doesn't load up on your machines, either connection issues or whatever. And so I'm well aware of that, and I don't want to leave anybody out, because as I said, I'd like to heck, if I could give everybody a copy of it, I would. But money doesn't grow on trees, and I'm not filthy rich, so it ain't happening, but I'll try to include as many people as possible. So there'll be some videos this week that will announce a giveaway, and the giveaway basically on video will be some phrase that you enter in the comments, like the video, leave this comment, and then on Friday I will have a drawing and announce the winners of the said prizes. And in the live streams, it'll be the same old thing as we do. It'll be something to do with Nightbot drawing a name out of the list and giving it away. So, anyways, I hope you guys can join us. The live streams are going to start at 4 o'clock each day and run from 4 to 6. I'm going to play a variety of games this week. We're going to restart the 7 Days to Die server this week, and put the vol mod on it for the herd server, not for the casket moose server. This will be the server that everybody in the herd is invited to play on. And I'm going to reset it because it's run 330 days. And the last update to 7 Days to Die really played havoc with some of the terrain in the game, so it's due a restart, and so we're gonna restart it. I'll probably live stream getting started on that and building a base out on that, so that'll be one night. But we're also gonna do some car mechanic this week. I've got some cars that I want to build. They put some new cars out in car mechanic, or new variations in car mechanic this week. Like they made variations of the El Camino in the game. They made variations of the Bolt. So there's a few different looks to some of the cars. So we'll get some of those and get some of those built out this week, as well as there's a couple of mods out there for the game, or customer created cars for the game. They'll look really good that I'd like to add in and do some builds on. So all that's coming this week, and we'll be doing that stuff in the live streams as well as Farm Sim, and because this series is going to be both recorded and live stream. It is going to be a combination of both, simply because with the Seasons mod there's so much work that I have to do that is repetitive. And I don't want it all in the recorded stuff, or you guys will get just worn out on it. If you're not familiar with seasons, it changes the whole time scale of everything, so that you actually have a spring, summer, winter, fall, winter. Let me get them in order. And because of that, like, you can only plant when the temperature is within a certain range. In the winter, the ground is typically frozen, so you can't do any planting. Your harvesting is all done in the fall. If it rains while you're harvesting, you run the risk of your crops being too wet to harvest and rotting for you. So there's a lot you have to take into consideration with the weather. You can't plant until you get to a certain temperature. So, for a while in the beginning, where we're at right now, I have to do nothing but do the field work and do the prep work to get the field ready to go, so that when the temperature gets up, we can actually start the planting. So that means the first few days are nothing but plowing and cultivating. And it's not like in the other versions where I could plow, cultivate, plant a field in 2 episodes, and then we could harvest it in the 3rd. It's not going to work out like that with the seasons mod in. So in order to break up some of that monotony, some of that's going to be done in the live streams, so that the recorded stuff will be not as repetitive. And I'll make sitting here running around not paying attention to the fact that I'm out of slurry. I'll make a concerted effort to make sure that I get all of the it looks like we did good, because he's on his way back with more slurry. I'll make a concerted effort to make sure that I get all of the live streams posted up to YouTube. I haven't really been worried about it lately, just because I'm working through some issues I was having with the live streams and trying to get everything to look flawless. And before I started putting them back up on YouTube, and because they weren't, some of them just weren't my best representations of what we do, and especially with some of the video glitches we were having. But now it seems to be working pretty good, so I'll start getting those posted up for you guys to watch. And then, the issues I've been having with YouTube as well have been kind of steering me from putting too much content out, because YouTube's just been robbing me blind. All right. And I'm not the only one. I was linked a video yesterday by a guy named B00 something or other. And he was going off on the whole thing too. And he finally just told all his followers, and this is a guy with over 1 million followers, He told everybody he was done with YouTube for a month. That he was going to stop doing things on YouTube for a month. And he was going to Twitch. And he was going to do nothing but live stream for an entire month and see how it went. Because he had it with YouTube and a lot of the stuff they were doing to him, and a lot of the stuff they're doing to him sound like a lot of the stuff they're doing to me. So it's good to see I'm not the only one, because for a while there I was talking to the people in my circle and they weren't having the same issues I was having, and it was getting really frustrating. And it's good to see that other people are being done stupidly as well. So that's the reason I'm at Twitch, with the live streams. I have to diversify the channel so that I have some sort of longevity at what I'm doing. Otherwise, I'm just doing it for nothing, and I can't afford to do things like give games away if there's zero revenue coming in. So I hope you guys understand that. I can't host servers. I can't give games away. If the revenue is not coming in that is generated off of, you know, the YouTube side of it, and off of the donations and such over on the Twitch side. So anyway, so that's what's happening this week. Like I said, I hope you guys can jump over and join the streams. I'm going to make a real concerted effort this week to get started every day at 4, no later than 4. That's going to try to be the live stream schedule going forward, is begin at, you know, no later than 4 o'clock, go till about 10 o'clock each day. We may play a variety of games, and just skip around a little bit, but with, you know, most of the guys back in school, or the young folks back in school, they're not even getting home in, you know, here in the States until 4, and that's where the majority of my viewing audience is in the US. And so I'm going to try to get that, but, you know, starting at 4 o'clock my time, and I'm saying 4 o'clock my time, that's 5 o'clock East Coast, because I'm in Central Time Zone. You know, most everybody's starting to get home from school at that point, or is home from school, and can hang out, be a part of the streams. If you live in Europe, there's still a little bit of time for you before you zonk completely out to enjoy the stream. So I don't know, one of these days maybe I'll just go full-time streamer and start at 10 o'clock in the morning and go all day. One of the guys I've been watching, he starts just about every day at 10 a.m. He starts streaming, and he streams sometimes, you know, 12 hours. You know, 8 hours is pretty typical for him, but there are sometimes he goes for like 12-hour runs, and to me that's just wow. I mean, I've done a few 12-hour streams lately. That's just because I get totally into the game and don't want to stop. 7 Days to Die is the one I'm thinking of, but day in, day out, I couldn't imagine doing that. But that's what he does, and that's the way he makes his living, so mad props to him. All right. So I figured out the best way for this field, as you can tell, is to split it in half when I'm working it. And just try to work these as 2 separate fields. I was looking at doing it as, you know, one field, and in the live streams I tried to do it as one field, and it just, the shape of it, just, you'd always end up with these odd patches to work. And I figure if I work it as 2 separate fields, maybe even 3, I can have a little bit of luck with it. And that might be why he's got it listed as 2 separate fields on the map, is just for that reason. All right. All right, let's get over here. Refill real quick, and we'll work on the bottom half. All right. Check what our dude's doing. He's filling up right now. So apparently my course blade course is working. Let me back out to it. He's getting in there without any problems, so that's good news. You never know. And look, if you try this yourselves and you mess up, you're going to have to try it several times to get it right. I'm not going to lie to you. That's not the first time I've recorded that course. I've messed with it several times trying to get it right. Especially trying to work with the slurry point. I backed in there a million times trying to get that slurry point to work. So I've messed around with courseplay enough to where I've figured out what courseplay can and can't do. So it's if you try it yourself and you don't get it on the first attempt or whatever, don't beat yourself up over it. It takes trial and error to get that right. And even so, sometimes it'll start working and you'll think you got it, and then you'll turn around and 5 minutes later courseplay will be off in the middle of a field somewhere, stuck in a tree, because sometimes it just loses its mind. Anyways, I'm going to try to get back to doing farm sims so that you got some content on it on a regular basis. I had, I took a little bit of a break from it, as I do periodically, just to refresh my batteries on it. And if there's not a map that excites me, I lose interest in it pretty quick. And it takes a cool map like Manchester to really capture my attention and capture my imagination as to what I can do on it to make it unique and fun. And what I love about this map is I can already see well into the future of different things I want to do on the map, especially when it comes to the forestry side of it, because of the way the terrain is over where the trees are for the forestry. I can just see us doing a yarder setup and dragging those trees up those hills, and using a chainsaw to drop the trees and then dragging them up the hill, and having a loading, having a loading point up there to where we can process all the trees, then get them loaded on a truck to get them taken over to the sell point. So I'm really looking forward to it. There's a few other mods that I want to add into here to enhance the map a little bit more. I've already looked at a couple of spots where I intend to put things, so I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a fun little project, and it'll be the first time that we do the seasons mod in a recorded video. I've messed around with it, played with it a little bit, but I haven't done a full series on it by any means. All right, here comes our truck back into the scene there, bringing us some more of that good beef broth. I guess in this case though, without any beef there, it's synthetic beef broth. It's artificial organic. Oh my. Little things I love though. I like that truck sitting up there on the side, Totally could see myself working in the tractor, having my truck sitting up on the side of a hill somewhere. So we should be able to finish this little section off here, and then we'll go refill again. Let's let him make his turn so we don't impede his progress. A little wide here on it, but that's all right. We'll blend these two in together and then shut it off, and then we'll go get some more. All right. Since I know the semi is not going to be back, y'all are going to hear me call the semi a tractor a lot, okay? Because when I grew up, they were called tractor trailer rigs, right? Or semi rigs. So a lot of times I will reference the semi as a tractor. So if you ever hear me say call that thing a tractor, that's just the way I was raised. You know, the same as I've heard them called tail lamps and tail lights. So people I get beat up a lot over some of the verbiage or some of the words I use. And it's just because I was raised in a different time, and some of the lingo is a little bit different. All right, looking good. We'll get this field finished up and then we'll call this a video. So it may be a little bit longer than an hour. And for those who know me, know that's kind of the way I am. If I start a project, I'm probably going to finish that project in the video. I'm not going to just go, well, all right, guys, we've hit the 25-minute mark, and YouTube thinks that's the optimum amount of time that a video should be. So thanks for watching, guys. I mean, I'm in the middle of, doing delicate surgery on my patient here, but, the 25-minute mark is where we need to cut this video off. And so thanks for watching. Make sure you click the like button. Also leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you the next. That's not going to be me. I'm gonna finish up what I'm doing to some sort of a stopping point, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, don't be surprised if we do this field in this video, finish it up, and when we come back, all the other fields have been done and it's time to cultivate. That's highly likely, because I might work on these a little bit off camera, do a live stream, do some more on camera, and then record at the point where it's time to cultivate. But usually when I start a field, I usually work on it until some sort of stopping point that makes sense. So I'm not one to edit. I don't take out all the mistakes. I leave them in. I may hit the mute button so you guys don't hear me go, son of a... But part of me making mistakes and leaving them in the video is showing where mistakes can be made and how you overcome those mistakes, and those are moments that I can share along with you guys. Like, one of the things I can tell you is don't attempt what I'm doing with the Coat Universal trailers. If you've got the Coat Universal trailers and you try to do what I'm doing with Courseplay, where you're bringing the slurry over using one of the Coat Universal trailers and fill up that field side container, don't even try it. It's not going to work. The Coat Universal will not overload into the field side container. I've never been able to get it to do it. When we played Graceland, I ran into the exact same problem. And so we always had to you could use the universals to transport to wherever you needed to do it, but you just could not take the universals. You couldn't take them and dump them into the field side container. I have no idea why that is, but it doesn't seem to work. So if you're going to use, and that's, again, that comes from me from trying it and figuring out it doesn't work and going, all right, well, I'll pass that along. So yeah, you've got to use the stock in-game Garrett trailer, and that will work just fine for you. Coat universal, not so much. Alright, I got 7% left. I can probably get around here, and then I'll just go get a little bit more. I should be able to get to this edge. 2, 1, made it. Alright. Alright. And I don't think he's going to be back in the next couple of seconds, so let's go ahead and start refilling. He shouldn't be too far away though. I see he's 100% transporting, so if we look at the map, he's on the diagonal coming in down there, so not quite here yet. We will be done and on our way before he gets back. All right. Good stuff. And again, don't forget to check the show notes if you guys want to download this map. It is off of a Facebook page for DR Mod Map. That is where you can get it. That's also where you can stay up to date on what kind of changes he has going on. He does have a YouTube channel as well where he streams like when he's doing testing and stuff, so you guys can watch that. Go check it out. Give him a little love too. Make sure you, if you like the map, make sure you let him know, and give him a little bit of support. He's gotten a little bit of hate from some of the people in the mod community. I don't know. They can't get their act together. Somebody does something good, and instead of encouraging them, they just beat them up, give them hate over it. I think you stole that mod from somebody. Yeah, whatever. It's public domain there, but. Once you put it in the Giants editor, it's public domain. It becomes the property of Giants. Here we go. Just a couple little bit more turns and we are done with this field. Yeah, it's a good looking map. Really is nice. Check it out. If you're looking for a good US themed map, I think you'll like it. And with that, I think we're just about done for today. Nice. Alright, so like I said, it's a real good chance that I'll finish up getting all these fields slurried in a live stream. And so when we come back, it'll be time to do some cultivation. And we'll start getting that done. We can't plant until the temperature gets up a little bit. Again, I do have the US Midwest Geo loaded up for seasons. That means my temperatures are a little bit different than the stock version of seasons. So if we look at it here and we go over, I need the temperature to be up over 5C for wheat, barley, canola. Or the ground temperature needs to be over 5C. 7 degrees for sunflower, soybeans, corn, and potatoes. The biggest thing that is beneficial for the US Geo is it pushes that corn more into the spring so that you can get planted more in the spring, because it'll get, the ground temperature will get up there prior to the summer. If you're using just the stock one, you don't get the corn in the ground until the first week of summer. And that's just not the, you know, I wish there was a Southeast Geo for the game and they would make one out, because I'm putting my, in the spring, first week of the spring, I'm putting corn in the ground. As soon as it's warm enough to go in the ground, it's going in the ground. Our temperatures, our ground temperature here never falls below the germination state for corn. So the moment that the like surface freeze is over, to where the, you know, air temperatures aren't going to be too cold for us to plant, we're planting, and we don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So I wish they'd do a Southeast one. It would be really cool to be able to have that. But anyways, that's it for today, guys. As always, I appreciate your time. Thanks for being with us. And oh yeah, I forgot to announce, if you want to win a copy of Farm Sim Platinum, I want you to go into the chat real quick and just say, I don't know, how about congrats Moose on 31K. I want Farm Sim Platinum. How about that? So just give me a congrats on the 31K, and then ask for Farm Sim Platinum, and I will put you into the drawing for Friday, where we will give away a copy of the Platinum DLC. All right? Like the way I waited until the very last minute for that. So anyways, there's the big announcement. So if you want to win the Farm Sim DLC for Platinum, put congrats Moose for 31K, however you want to list it, and then right after that say, I want Farm Sim Platinum DLC, or I want the Farm Sim. As long as you convey those two things in the same message, because there will be some who will just say, they'll watch the first part of the video and they'll say congrats Moose on 31K, which is cool, and I appreciate that. But for those of you who are actually entering the contest, I want those two qualifiers together. And of course, like the video as always, comment down below, and share it with your friends. Help me out, spread the news about the channel, and then of course subscribe if you hadn't already. Thanks guys, have a wonderful day. God bless you. Join us for the live stream tonight at 4. Bye bye.